I want all of you come to my office right now.
Guys, Mr. Danial wants to see us.
Good morning, esteemed board members.
Morning, sir.
Thank you for convening at such short notice. The Boeing company is facing a defining crisis, which is global production disruptions, aircraft delivery delays, compounding quality control failures, and deep-rooted labor disputes that have stalled our primary assembly lines. Today, we must finalize the strategic decisions needed to stabilize operations, repair regulatory relationships, and win back public trust. I need your absolute strategic alignment. Let us ensure our decisions are backed by rigorous data and established management frameworks.
I completely agree, Mr. Danial. This crisis has created a massive domino effect across commercial airlines worldwide who are bleeding revenue to our delivery delays. Our structural engineering integrity is being heavily scrutinized by the FAA and the public. What we need today is a profound, irreversible paradigm shift in our corporate strategy, not just band-aid operational fixes. Our long-term market presence depends on how cleanly we execute our recovery plan starting today.
Thank you, Aleeya. Before we vote on our strategic recovery blueprint, let us decide our operational vulnerabilities. AMIER, as our Chief Operating Officer, please give the board an analytical breakdown of our current supply chain bottleneck regarding our primary Tier 1 supplier, Syir Aerosystems.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. To put it bluntly, our severe operational disruptions are deeply rooted in the degrading structural quality of outsourced components. As you can see, the Syir Aerosystems, our primary supplier for critical aircraft fuselages, has been drowning in financial instability and technical quality lapses. To mitigate this crisis, our first definitive strategic decision is to reacquire Syir Aerosystems and fully integrate its production back into Boeing's internal operations.
AMIER, I must interject. If we do taking over Syir Aerosystems, do we actually have the capacity to strictly enforce quality control over their legacy components? Because historically, recurring fuselage defect from their end have been a bottleneck, forcing us to stop the assembly at our Renton and Everett facility. So how does taking them over mechanically can fix our structural engineering flaws?
Okay, so that is precisely where we rigorously apply the resource-based view framework, or the RBV. According to the RBV theory, a firm's sustained competitive advantage relies on resources that are valuable, rare, intimatable, and organized. Okay, the Syir's specialized manufacturing assets and deep engineering competencies are incredibly valuable and structurally irreplaceable to Boeing's value chain. By vertically integrating this supplier back into our corporate structure, we turn an unstable and highly vulnerable external resource into a fully controlled proprietary internal capability.
From a capital expenditure standpoint, AMIER, this acquisition will demand massive capital outlays and debt restructuring. However, my comprehensive cost-benefit analysis indicate that our current rework costs for fixing defective part post-delivery, combined with mounting late delivery, financial penalties to airlines are significantly higher than the cost of this acquisition. Therefore, vertical reintegration makes profound sense from a long-term risk management and financial sustainability perspective. It stops our cash bleed at the source.
rationale for the acquisition under the resource-based view is sound. Let us now pivot to our second major firestorm, which is the ongoing labour crisis and union strikes that have completely frozen production on our key aircraft programs. Nadira, as our Chief Human Resources Officer, what is our strategic blueprint to resolve this standoff?
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Tensions on the factory floor by off the traditional defined benefit pension plan. Our second strategic decision is the execution of a comprehensive compensation enhancement package. We have newly negotiated a landmark labour agreement that offers an aggressive 38% direct wage increase over 4 years, significantly upgraded healthcare coverage and enhancement retention bonus, rather than reinstating the financially unsustainable legacy pension structure.
Nadira, could you expand on the socio-cultural dynamics at play here? Why have our American union workers adopted such an uncompromising, aggressive stance compared to our global manufacturing hubs? How does international management theory explain this behavior? We need a deeper framework to validate this massive cost increase.
We can clearly analyze this labour dynamic through Hofstede's culture dimension theory, specifically the dimension of low uncertainty avoidance, which heavily characterizes the mainstream workforce culture in the United States. Workers in a low avoidance culture are inherently comfortable with structural ambiguity and risk-taking. They do not fear confronting executive management because they prefer immediate, high, flexible, short-term tangible rewards such as upfront cash wage increases over rigid long-term institutional promises like pension plans. By understanding this psychological profile, our strategy directly targets their culture expectation.
To support Nadira's point from financial lens, while this compensation hike will drive our operational overhead costs up significantly, it is non-negotiable investment. If this strike were to persist for another 30 days, our project cash burn rate from completely idle factories would eclipse billions of dollars. Unhappy, low morals workers execute poor quality works, which cost us far more in the long run. Stabilizing labor is a prerequisite for financial recovery.
Thank you, Nadira and Ain. Resolving this labour deadlock through Hofstede cultural framework gives us a massive communication advantage. However, resolving labour and supply chain issues means nothing if the final product out of hangar doors is technically compromised. Syira, as our Chief Quality Officer, how do we structurally rebuild our quality culture? Please present our third strategic decision.
Mr. Daniel, colleagues, our third decision is arguably our most radical yet our most critical, which is prioritizing quality over production volume. For too long, Boeing's legacy leadership fell into a trap of chasing aggressive monthly delivery target to appease Wall Street, which accidentally forced a culture where manufacturing speed bypass meticulous our quality checks. That era ends today. We are officially implementing a company-wide ironclad total quality management framework, and also we are re-engineering our metric from the ground up.
Syir, intentionally slowing down our manufacturing lines means the absolute number of aircraft delivered per quarter will drop drastically. We are already looking at backlogs spanning years. How does reducing our output solve an active production crisis? Won't that anger our commercial buyers even more?
So AMIER, under the core tenets of TQM, the absolute focus is on continuous quality improvement and total employee empowerment. By slowing down the assembly line, we are implementing a principle known as quality at the source. Every mechanist, engineer and inspector are given the absolute authority to halt the entire assembly line the moment an anomaly is detected without any fear of retaliation. This drastically slashes manufacturing defects, eliminate catastrophic reward delays at the end of the line, ensure 100% compliance with FAA regulation, and critically restore the safety trust of our commercial airline client. Short-term slowing will yield long-term velocity.
I fully endorse this transition to total quality management. I would rather explain a delay, flawless aircraft delivery to our clients than defend a compromised one. However, we must remain brutally realistic about the severe external risks of this decision. I, as our CFO, walk us through our risk exposure, especially regarding our aggressive rivalry with Airbus.
Yes, Mr. Daniel. The first and most glaring risk of intentional slowing down our assembly lines to enforce TQM is the market share avoidance. While Boeing slowed down production to perfect its quality, our main global competitors, Airbus, is aggressively capitalizing on our vulnerability by ramping up production of their highly successful A321neo aircraft. The imminent risk is that major global carriers will cancel their backlog of Boeing orders and permanently defect to Airbus. Additionally, we face a second internal risk: lingering employee dissatisfaction among veterans workers who remain bitter about the permanent loss of their legacy pension plans.
Those are massive internal and external threats, Ain. Let me add our third critical risk: integration failure regarding the Spirit reacquisition. Since Boeing spun off the Spirit Aerosystem decades ago, the two companies have developed completely different corporate cultures, discordant management styles, and misaligned supply chain protocols. Forcing these two massive corporate entities together overnight risk creating deep bureaucratic friction that could severely stall the exact quality improvement we are trying to achieve through TQM.
Aleeya, what do you think is our strategic blueprint to mitigate these risks and guarantee a seamless transition? Because as you can know, that we cannot afford an operational deadlock during a live acquisition.
Well, AMIER, to mitigate the integration risk, we will immediately establish a joint integration task force to synchronize quality management system across both Boeing and Spirit from day one. To mitigate the market share exodus risk to Airbus, we must launch a comprehensive customer loyalty assurance program. This includes offering robust financial credits, complimentary long-term technical support, and prioritize the delivery slots for airlines impacted by our current delay. We must aggressively communicate to the global market that a Boeing aircraft built under our new TQM standard represent an elite tier of safety and asset longevity that far outweigh the short-term convenience of switching to a competitor. We sell safety, and safety is a non-negotiable premium.
Brilliant work, everyone. We have systematically dismantled this crisis across all critical dimensions through the strategic acquisition of Spirit Aerosystem guided by the RBV, resource-based view. We are reclaiming our core internal capabilities through our culturally tailored composition overhaul backed by Hofstede theory. We are stabilizing our vital human capital, and most importantly, by embedding total quality management (TQM) as our absolute law. We are resetting Boeing's foundation back to engineering perfection, while the risks of market share loss and cultural integration are real. Our proposed mitigation frameworks are ironclad. I now call for a formal executive vote to approve this unified strategic recovery plan. All those in favor?
Yes!
Alright everyone, let's have some tea, my tree.
Yay!